So, if you can remember the sketch I put in a couple of days ago, and bear with me, this is the first time I'm doing this. I ain't done this before. And I'm using one camera coming from the iPad itself because I cannot, for the light, I can't be bothered to be setting up separate cameras I can't be bothered. Like, I want to sit down with people and do this stuff with them, but I can't bother to up all that shit. And I ain't got the time for it. So I want to I found a way of just having this on the screen whilst I do this. See the new thing? Not one of the new things, that's the red on red and black. So I'm just going to give you what I would do. This, like I said, this is just procedure. It's not about wrong or right, but this is about like trying to keep the energy in the picture. So you remember the last thing I showed you, this was just, I brought this to a bunch of scribbles. So this was a bunch of scribbles. Finally, we got some form. So I literally took a picture on my iPad of what I've done. Now I like to use the iPad for this stage because there's a program called Frisco on Photoshop. You can only get it on the iPad and on phones. It's not a desktop. But I just find I love the pencil. So this is this pencil here. I love their pencil. It just got this really nice feel to it. Like, it's smooth. And in Frisco, you can do like things that you couldn't really do on desktop. So you can have like it, if you hold your brush down, if I'm doing a line like that, and I want to make it a straight line, hold my brush, it cleans it up. So it kind of helps illustrators get a better feel immediately to the artwork. So I'm just going to kind of now start to go around and just get the shapes and turn these shapes into something. And this is like trial and error stage. So the reason I like to do this before I go into Photoshop, number one, I love this pencil. And number two, with Photoshop, it's very easy to stiffen up. Or even any desktop illustration software, it's just easy to stiffen up, just the nature of things. So that's why I keep things on paper first, and now this has just got a nice, drawing onto an iPad isn't ideal. Anyone will tell you that. Tablets are designed to draw on them, so that the way they feel is a lot different. iPad, obviously, you got the glass, and it's not the most pleasurable. Some people put something called Papermate on theirs. Others will, you got these little tips. I've got some here. These little tips that you can put on the pen, on the nib, like that. These little, they're alright, but they will make everything start to be quite stiff, if you probably notice now. I'm using it now. But they kind of stiffen up the work a little bit. And the whole thing about the iPad, the level that they've gone into to give you that like pen to pad feel, these kind of defeat the objects a little bit because you can actually kind of feel the slight delay. It's not a lot, but you can feel a slight delay. Yeah, so here I'm just kind of just looking at what lines I like and just filling out a little bit more. And again, just trying to still stay in tune with the shape language of the picture. Hence why I like to put it in here before Photoshop. I still got this thing on. I mean, it's alright. Sorry if my hand keeps on going over the camera, but what it is, because of the nature of how the iPad camera setup is, I have to have the camera at the bottom to do this. So you're going to see my hand going over it. So again, just kind of finding where she is. Because I didn't put a bottom in there, I'm kind of suggesting that's where the clouds on the bottom part would be. dimensions, for some reason, like purposely, usually when you're drawing coloring characters, you'd over accentuate the head size. I don't, because of the origin of where my characters come from, I kind of want to keep their proportions. She's got a slightly smaller head than you'd usually see. That's because of what part of Africa she's from. I want to keep the dimensions of that stand out from that region of the world. Shows her the strong thighs, as our beautiful Eritrean women do. A look of determination. You remember that Wu-Tang skit on Raekwon's album? He has a look of determination in him. That's kind of the look she's got. And the reason I keep doing a lot of these sketches as well, because leading into doing the comic, as artists, designs can kind of change. Little things can change. It could be hairstyles, it could be the way you're drawing certain lines. So I know going into it, like, things are probably going to change as I get more into the comic. So I've done the first kind of like 30 introduction pages, which is more scenery and world driven. It's giving you the world, it's laying it out for you. So as far as characters, there's still some things I think are going to change as I get, as I start drawing more and more the characters. Again, Frisco just allows you that bit of freedom. I haven't really spoke much about the comic, have I? Because that's really why I'm here. That's really why I'm here, to give you the comic. So this is ag1. And this is one of the tricks I love about Frisco. So if you watch this, hold it, you got a perfect circle. I don't know if I want that to be a shape. I'll decide later which direction he's looking in. I'll be honest with you, with ag1, there's a couple of different designs I've been playing with as far as he's concerned. There was this kind of like, was that how I did it? It was just kind of like a little bit of a screen at the front. But I don't know if I like that. No, I don't think I'll kind of get back to that. I think I'll get back to that. Again, there's certain designs I'm not 100% set on exactly how they're gonna finally appear once we start. So yeah, so I can kind of just get in here and just do this with this, to keep it simple. Nothing too detailed at this stage. Again, it is kind of keeping the energy of the picture, and that's what I really like about Frisco. It's got this pencil brush, and then no matter what software I've used, none of them feel as pencil-like as the brush that Apple have on the iPad for Adobe Frisco. And I'll kind of just do this to see where some of the light will go. Again, before I get too detailed. And this is one of the things I'm trying to demonstrate when we're doing this as well. Is just working into something. Like you saw the original sketch. I've been sitting here talking to you lot as I'm doing this. Once you've got your kind of formula, you can take a lot of stress out of things. Start to enjoy your work better as well. once you have a kind of a set formula of how you're working. So now I might look for some of the key shapes. So at this stage, I can start to look for some of the key shapes. So particularly this little section here. So I might get there. In Frisco, you got this nice vector brush. So at this stage, I might just see, just start to look where some shapes could go before I go into Photoshop. And again, things could change in Photoshop, but often this stage I always say is like, I would say this stage is kind of like you're just laying out your map in it. Say, okay, that's what I've got, and that's what I'm working with. And so the Frisco has some nice little tools for that. And I probably actually, know what, before I even put this into Photoshop, I will probably stop this and then come back when I do the background, because that's another little lesson I could kind of go through, because you've got some really good little tricks that you can do using Adobe Frisco when you're doing backgrounds and scaling and perspective. It's got some really good tools. Let's give it a nice curve. Let's see if it holds it up. There you go. Holds that nicely. I'll tell you the truth, I wasn't even going to do this today. I was going for the gym. I was a bit knackered. But this is why I want to keep this format kind of a bit like this. So when I can't be bothered to do them, I will still do them, because it's not a lot of work to do them. So rather than sitting there and have to set up a fucking camera, do this, do that, just have a formula which is simple to do. Come, turn on the iPad, turn on the computers, turn on the camera, and crack on and get on with it. So again, at this stage, I'm just looking somewhere some of the lines might be. Just giving it a bit more volume. Still haven't decided what I want to do with ag1, but fuck it. There's a trick that I've got to do which all artists say you should do, and I'll have to do it in a minute, and sometimes it's one of the most disheartening things in the world. You sit here and draw a whole picture, I think it looks great, and you flip it. You always got to flip your work just to look at your work. And it's disheartening sometimes. You could sit here doing a whole piece, think it looks brilliant, but if you're fucking special in the head like me, you've been tricking yourself for an hour. You flip it and it looks disgusting. So I'm hoping when I flip this, it's not going to look disgusting. I've got some of the basic shapes out, so I'll be good with this until I get into Photoshop. I mean, I could do more in Frisco if I'm honest, but I kind of want to show you a quick version of what I do. But I could do a lot more in it. In fact, when I come back and do the scenery, I might do a little bit more in it. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I'm happy with that for now, I think. I think so far, yeah. Give me an idea of what I'm doing. Yeah, part two. So this is just going over some of them lines that I went over with you before. But really, the whole point of this, I haven't really done it that much. It's to talk about the comic and the characters. But I've got plenty of time to do that. These are the first kind of ones that I'm doing with people. I think it's the first time I've even sat down and showed people my process. So yeah, just get into that bit of that. So yeah, that's that anyway. Also, what Frisco does as well, it gives you a quick time, which is proper. Actually, I haven't flipped it, have I? Let me flip it. No, there we go. Fucking. So flip. Yes, okay. It's okay. I could probably. There's a few things I could do. I could tilt it a bit, I think. Do you know what? No, I'm not even going to do that. Because the problem I've got here, and I'm hoping it hasn't messed up the whole video, is because the orientation of the camera, the iPad's actually telling itself it's upside down. So I'm hoping that doesn't fuck up the footage. Yeah, let me flip that back. I can see what's wrong with it on the flip, but I haven't really got time to fix that. If I have to do it, I'll probably fix it in Photoshop. She could be, if I'm get this right, she could be that way a little bit. Yeah. But that'll do for a rough sketch. And what was the other thing? But I might even come back in here and do the scenery or do the background just so I can show you scale and the rest of it. But yeah, that's that for now. Yeah, there you go, part 2.